Hello, and thanks for watching another episode of ARFCOM News, your source for the finest 2A propaganda brought to you by TNVC.com. Today I want to tell you about the Okie gun shop speaking out against spooky boys, the anti-gun mayor interrupted by gunfire, and a modest win for the good guys in Pennsylvania. With friends like these, who needs enemas? A gun range in Tulsa, Oklahoma, called United States Shooting Academy, went on record with a local ABC affiliate to take a stand against so-called ghost guns. And here I thought Spooktober was over.
If you feel like you have the confidence of not being traced, what would you do with it?
Sarah Cope also said a ghost gun is simply a gun without a serial number. I mean, when it comes to ambiguous, fictional terms like ghost guns, I guess it can be whatever you say it is. But lots of guns before 1968 were made without serial numbers from the factory. My granddad's Marlin Model 60 has no serial number. And if you make a gun at home, you can certainly affix whatever serial number to it you wish, or skip the serial number altogether. But the folks at United States Shooting Academy told News Channel 8 any completed gun must have a serial number, and that's just not true. Ms. Cope also said, "How can you trace the gun to a person or an event or a place or where it was made? You can't." Except that's useless if no gun is left at the scene, or the gun was stolen, or the serial number was properly obliterated. Tracing a gun doesn't work like in the movies. They can't trace a gun to recovered bullets or to cases unless they have the gun. And if they have the gun, that usually means they have a suspect and a pretty solid case already. If a gun is recovered from a crime scene with a legible serial number, the AFT contacts the manufacturer to find which distributor the gun shipped to. Then they ask the distributor which dealer it shipped to. Then they visit the dealer and look at the 4473 to see who bought it in the first place. Then they visit that person.
Open the door!
Open the
Travis,
door!
do it! Do it! Do it!
Go, mother. Pump and pump oil.
Can we have our battery?
But that's where it usually stops, because the gun was sold privately, or maybe it was stolen, and honestly, you gotta be pretty stupid to use a gun you purchased personally from a dealer to commit a crime, unless maybe a crime of passion in the moment, in which case they got a suspect. I don't know why the gun shop decided to do the interview, or why they thought it would be a good idea to take a stand against gun rights given their target demo, and I believe in giving people the benefit of the doubt, especially when the legacy media is involved. So I called Sarah to find out if maybe she was taken out of context or misquoted, but she hung up on me. On the off chance that we just got disconnected, I called back and she said she had been instructed not to make any comments. If you like seeing stuff more than not seeing stuff, take a look at our sponsor, TNVC.com, your source for quality night vision gear to make you the bump in the night. Check out this clip where a control freak mayor is giving a press conference advocating for draconian gun laws when she was interrupted by gunfire.
Is that? Oh, isn't that wonderful?
Mayor Tishara Jones seemed unfazed by the shots and went on to claim she hears gunshots every single night in her neighborhood. While I'm skeptical of her claim, that's only because it's obvious bullshit. I don't doubt gunfire is often heard in her neighborhood, but you're not going to hear it literally every single night, even in the worst neighborhoods. Hell, I didn't hear gunshots every night when I slept in an actual combat zone. Jones says she still lives in the same low-income neighborhood where she was raised, so I understand and I sympathize with her desire to make neighborhoods safer. But authoritarian gun policies have the harshest impact on people who don't live in gated communities with armed security and fast police response times. Fees, permits, and complex restrictions are harder to navigate for poor people. Even worse, Jones laments that state preemption laws prohibit her city and other locales from creating a confusing patchwork of conflicting laws which serve only to imprison the kind of folks who are more likely to get pulled over for a broken taillight. Gun control disproportionately harms the poor. Speaking of state preemption laws, Pennsylvania's law prohibiting cities and counties from passing their own bewildering patchwork of conflicting gun laws has been simply ignored for years. Harrisburg has laws prohibiting the possession of firearms in parks, discharging a firearm outside a gun range, and banning minors from possessing firearms. These laws were challenged back in 2015 by Firearms Owners Against Crime and 3 plaintiffs, but the courts ruled the plaintiffs could not have standing unless they were actually arrested for violating those laws. Of course, it's totally unreasonable to expect someone to risk prison just in order to challenge an unjust law. So recently, the state Supreme Court ruled the plaintiffs can continue their suit. That isn't a victory yet, but you can't get a touchdown without stepping up to the plate, or some other more accurate sports ball analogy. Well, friends, that's all I have for you today, but before I go, I just want to take the time to remind you to please stop and check and see if you're still subscribed to our channel. Our robot overlords in the tube of yous know what we want better than we could possibly know for ourselves, so they helpfully just go ahead and unsubscribe viewers from any channels they think are expressing wrongthink. Like this one. Censorship makes puppies cry, and Captain America is very disappointed with this sort of behavior, so don't forget to check every now and then to be sure you're all still subscribed to us, and while you're at it, make sure you ring that notification bell so you never miss a word of our gun rights propaganda. And if you want to get email alerts for the best deals, the projects that we're working on, and the hottest stuff you missed on the ARFCOM forums, you'll also find a Linktree link down there in the doobly-doo for our newsletter. And remember, if you want to help us keep bringing you banger content like this, please support the folks who support us. Not only does TNVC.com give you night vision with that cool, refreshing, never bitter taste that goes down smooth, they also have mounts, lights, swag, and all sorts of other gear to make you the bump of the night. I love you.